It has Ryzen. Hey guys, this is Zach with Next Tech News, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about my impressions of AMD Ryzen. So there's been surprisingly, honestly, like a lot of controversy going around the Ryzen 7 processors, which are the 1700, the 1700X, and the 1800X. They are all 8-core, 16-thread processors, and their clock speeds are all under 4 gigahertz for the most part. A couple people are getting overclocks up to like 4.1 and stuff like that, but they aren't super high core clock processors. That's just not the way they were made. There's a ton of cores and a lot of threads, more than even many X99 boards. This is only a 6-core, 12-thread processor back here, the 6850K. I think there's been a lot of misconception about what these processors are supposed to be. I think a lot of that might have to do with the way AMD was pitching it and kind of overhyping it and stuff like that. But these processors are going to be obviously best for video editing and anything rendering wise. I kind of thought that was kind of an obvious thing, but so many people are getting upset because of its performance in gaming. Most games use either dual cores or 4 cores, and so with that being said, the AMD Ryzen 7 processors have low core clocks, and if they're only using 4 of those cores or even 2 of those cores, then of course they're not going to perform super awesome in gaming or anything like that. And most of the reviewers are showing that it's most noticeable in 1080p gaming, and that's really going to come down to 2 reasons. Again, it's going to be that core clock. Obviously, it's not super high compared to something like a 7700K or something like that, I've seen many people hit 5 gigahertz with a 7700K. And obviously, that's only a 4-core processor. So for the most part, the game is probably going to use all 4 of those cores. Whereas on a Ryzen, 1800X or something like that, it's using half the cores it's actually designed to be used for in a game. And the other big thing is optimization. Oh, and the quick little point that I forgot to mention, and obviously this clip below, the reason 1080p gaming is so noticeable versus, whereas 4K and 1440p video gaming isn't as noticeable of the disparity between Ryzen 7 and some Intel processors, is primarily because that's when the load isn't GPU bound. 1440p and 4K are still GPU bound games for the most part, meaning that most of the limitations of your frame rate is being limited by the GPU, because so much of games is on the GPU that it actually holds back. The GPU is what's holding back the game from being able to hit higher frame rates. Whereas in 1080p gaming, the GPU is pushing it to its limit on frame rates. The CPU then is the only thing that's holding back the frame rates on those games, which is why in 1080p gaming it's the most noticeable that the optimization and the core clock is worse on AMD. Obviously, it's not like a bad thing for Ryzen 7, it's just that they don't have the optimization, which again you'll see in just a second down below. So let's get back to it. So most games have only had to really optimize for Intel in the last, really like 8 years almost. The last time AMD was really competitive was like 8 years ago. So I don't get why there's so much misconception and kind of hate on this subject. Obviously, the Ryzen 7 ones are aimed at being video production processors, and they're really for the industry because, I'm super stoked for them because the second I can get my hands on one, which obviously I haven't yet because I'm too small of a YouTube channel for them to send me anything like that, but I'm really excited because, a Ryzen 7 processor would be awesome in something like this. That is an expensive processor, and to be able to replace it with something more affordable, like a Ryzen 7 or something like that would be, great. Or what I'm really looking forward to the most is that Ryzen 7 processors will be able to be put on like a ITX motherboard, which X99, yes, there's like, I think ASRock has one X99 ITX motherboard, but honestly, it sucks. So I'm looking forward to both the X370 motherboards and the X300, which are all going to be able, both of them are going to be able to support the Ryzen 7 processors from the 1700 all the way up to the 1800X, and they should be able to overclock them and all that kind of stuff in an ITX motherboard. And honestly, that's what I'm looking forward to most, because I want a traveling rig. Obviously, I'm not going to be, swapping this out, but as you guys have saw in this video with the portable gaming piece, or with the portable desktop rig, I want portability, and a Ryzen 7 processor that can also be an ITX would be just awesome. I mean, that would be the best video editing portable PC that you could get. But I don't, like I said before, I don't get what all the, kind of hate is on this, because obviously I get it. I get people like AMD or they like Intel. There's always going to be fanboys for either processor company, just like there's fanboys for Nvidia and AMD and Apple and Android and all that kind of stuff. But the thing I don't get is, okay, if I'm an Intel fanboy and AMD just came out with these processors that, they actually perform pretty similarly to very expensive X99 processors, why do I care? If I'm an Intel fanboy, I'm going to stick with Intel, and guess what? I'm not really losing anything except for the money. So maybe when Intel comes out with the 8th generation of processors now, they're going to have to be cheaper because now they have some competition. So if I'm an Intel fanboy, guess what? I should be happy. I should be glorious. I mean, it should just be awesome that AMD is now actually being competitive, because now Intel has to compete on both price and quality. So the next processors actually might be better from Intel. Honestly, we haven't seen a huge improvement in Intel processors in the last 3 years. And that's because there's no competition. What do they have to compete against except themselves? So I don't get why on the Intel side, if you're an Intel fanboy, why it's that big of a deal. And then again on the AMD side, if you're an AMD fanboy, guess what? They just came out with an awesome line of processors. Yes, it's only the Ryzen 7 processors right now that are out. And yes, they're not actually aimed at gaming. So if you're an AMD fanboy and you're looking for gaming, wait a little bit longer. They're about to come out with the Ryzen 5 and 3 processor series, which are going to be more like LGA 1151 processors right now for Intel. They're going to be they're going to be like the 7700s and the 7600s and all that kind of stuff that are aimed at video gaming, not really like video production like the X99 platform is or the Ryzen 7 platform is. So again, I don't get what all this animosity is or all this kind of hate that's going around about AMD Ryzen. There just seems to be a lot of confusion, and even with reviewers, like, who cares? Like, if you're reviewing it and you're showing it, yeah, obviously it's going to be less than 1080p because, there's no optimization, it's brand new, and it's got low core clock, so, of course. So, I mean, I'd be curious what you guys have seen around the internet about these things. Are you excited for Ryzen 7? Are you not? I'm extremely excited for it as both a video editor and a gamer, because it's finally some competition, and regardless if you want to stick with Intel or AMD, it's going to push the industry forward. So definitely 2 thumbs up from me. Again, I really want to hear your guys' comments about it. I'm just curious. It just seems like there's so much stuff going on with it, and it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But I wanted to put this video out there just so you guys heard my opinion of Ryzen. Honestly, I'm looking forward to it. So hope you guys like this video. This is Zach with Next Tech News. See ya!